In October of last year, I made a video where I titled it Xbox's content delivery outclasses PlayStation. They do not need to money hack games. The video, the thumbnail that I used was Xbox is looking dangerous. I like to go back to these videos to not only watch a little bit of it, talk about it, but also see, also see the reactions. Let's go ahead and tweak the audio here that people had at the time when I made the video. I think this is going to be a little revealing. So first of all, let's look at the comments, right? Let's go ahead and do that. This person said, you do know that Xbox games are on PlayStation, question mark. Kid Smooth pre-ordered a PS5 Pro, and Dirt Griggity admits that Sony has won. This is a Will N.A. Martin. This is a comment that you see that I hadn't replied to. This person said, I guess this explains why Avowed is pushed back to 2025. More third-party devs are skipping Xbox, and Xbox is prioritizing. Boys and girls, get in here, man. This person said, the majority of games from the table are all multi-platform. PlayStation will be getting those games, plus their own games, plus third-party exclusives like Silent Hill 2, Final Fantasy Rebirth, and or games published by them like Stellar Blade and Helldivers 2. This is useless. That's why no one cares about Xbox. Hey, interesting. This person said Sony winner for now and maybe PS6. Cosmart ENT. Hopefully PS7 too. Xbox for future and multi-platform. So need all players to be in a healthy state, so none will charge exorbitant amount or whatever it is. This person said the thing wrong with Microsoft right now is releasing new first-party games on competitors, while competitors gatekeep their games. Guys, we're only a few comments in, and you can tell that I was making these videos in a very thick, dense atmosphere that was filled with either hostility from PlayStation fans or skepticism from Xbox fans. And I still made the videos because I already in my mind said, which gamer can resist this reality? Now we're here in May of 2025. I can scroll and show you these games, but what if I went back and showed you something pretty interesting? One of our audience members, OP, a while ago, showed me a subreddit thread that was actually written here on the PlayStation subreddit. In here, they talked about how, Xbox was getting Expedition 33 and Oblivion on Game Pass, as well as possibly getting the new Doom game. But these folk were still saying that the quality difference between the subscription services were basically night and day. You see, when a lot of these people were pretty much talking and, pretty much telling me in my videos, well, what's the use? PlayStation is going to be getting these games. One thing that they did not pay attention to was the fact that you would actually have to spend money for these games on PlayStation, which everybody else will be having fun on their ecosystem, not spending that amount of money, while you will be looking and saying, if I want to play 2 games, you mean to tell me PlayStation or Xbox is telling me I got to spend $120 to $140 to play them day one, while their own people, these Xbox people that I've always looked down upon, are going to play it for $20? That level of dissatisfaction is exactly the atmosphere that Xbox needs to create a differential as the ecosystems switch to their new platforms next generation. Even right now, they've checkmated Nintendo. The last video that I just made, I showed you that in that video, there was somebody who said I was about to trade my Xbox in for a Nintendo Switch. Then I found out that Expedition 33 was going to be coming on Game Pass, and I'd already bought it on Steam. I said, nah, I refunded it on Steam. I went back and played it on Game Pass because you have access to it. That's the difference. So when I'm reading these comments to y'all, this person said fanboy channel. This person said he claims to be a PC gamer but seems to love Xbox quite a lot more for some reason. Bro, we're stating objective reality. Because I stated that they had games coming and this PlayStation Plus user stated that they have better games in quality, does this now mean that this PlayStation user is an Xbox fanboy? No, the brain rot has now been exposed. I haven't seen a lot of these people. I haven't seen a lot of them. Right? This person said, except, yeah, sure, except the Gears crap. Missing a word there, bud. The word you're looking for is war. The title is Gears of War, not Gears of, I don't know what this is. This user, this one said, trolling has been a lost art over the years. Trolls used to be believable. Now you amateur trolls are just too obvious. Can't even be taken serious. This user, the only thing that he ever says in any conversation is that he calls you a troll. Whether or not you tell him that the sky is blue or it's raining outside or whatever it is, or hey man, look, freaking dog's about to snag your beef jerky off of your plate. He's like, no, you're trolling. That's all he does. That's literally all he does. This person said, you guys keep talking about content dumps, new products, etc., and fail to realize no one cares. I mean, literally, the regular consumer does not like Microsoft and only deals with them when they're forced to. I'm a console gamer. And the second Microsoft leaves the console space, and they will, I won't deal with them anymore. Where are they going to go? Y'all PlayStation fans are over here talking about how you are going to jump into their ecosystem as judged by this subreddit. These are gamers, actually. Somebody told me, I said, VG, you got to give it to these people that, well, most of them here that are not console wearing, which I saw a good number. A lot of these folk right here are gamers. They want to go ahead and play games. So most of them already have access to, Xbox Game Pass. And some of them are looking for ways to get into it. So, again, this was just fanboys talking. I'm not buying a PC. I'm not buying an Xbox handheld. I'm not playing mobile. You guys can go ahead and do as you please and move your area of gaming into this non-ownership crap, but don't expect real gamers to help. Well, you're a real gamer, right? Buy the games then. We may be dying breed, but we're not going out with our fight. I promise you that if Sony follows follow suit, same for them. I'll be retro gaming and play my Nintendo Switch 3. Sure. You're a real gamer because you're going to play on Nintendo because Nintendo gives you ownership. You said this 6 months ago, though. I can't blame you. Now we know better. Interesting stuff. Look at this. It's weird, ladies and gentlemen, that when we were talking about this stuff months back, it was mockery and downplaying and all of that. And believe you me, we can go back, right? We can go back and look at a lot of these fanboy, comments who were doubting, who were basically trying to distract and deflect from the conversations at hand because many of them understood, right, that their platform of choice that they were basically heralding was getting swarmed by a reality that they did not see coming. This person said, and this was when people were still saying this, oh, this will matter once Xbox becomes a third-party publisher, which is already happening. So all these cute little companies that Xbox bought are also optimizing their development games for Sony and PS5. That's the reality of Xbox at the moment. They can't afford not to. Well, the thing though is most PlayStation fans can't afford not to notice the quality that's in terms of, game types, game styles, budgets that are going to Game Pass while they are getting games removed from, the PlayStation Plus service. In fact, one of them here says, I wish Sony would start adding first-party games to PS Plus just like Xbox does with Game Pass. For the price they're currently asking and increasing it, adding their exclusives day one is the bare minimum. Honestly, I've got both services and I've used Game Pass more than PS Plus last year, and apparently this year will be the same. You saying that when Xbox becomes a third-party publisher is not going to matter, while PlayStation was releasing and launching games for other platforms, as I told you here, and then you went ahead and wrote a big missive saying it won't matter. Apparently it matters, because what people were saying about 6 months ago to basically what people are saying now after seeing the games that are launching on Game Pass after just a week is apparently causing some kind of a rift in terms of what consumers would expect. This expectation was pointed out months ago, not just by me. What's funny too is the person who first started commenting on this video, right? Once they, started to comment, their first inclination was, oh, Dirk Griggity said, how did he even put it? He said, Dirk Griggity said that PlayStation has won. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, hold on. He was probably making stuff up. Or perhaps maybe 6 months ago, some Xbox users weren't even this confident because at the time too, if you think about it, they hadn't seen that majority of the games that they were basically looking down on on the Xbox side, we're going to pretty much become some of the most, whatchamacallit, some of the most pre-ordered games or most sold games on their own platform. It changed the perception just seeing that thing materialize that way. And so now, if you look and ask any of them and say, so how is it hanging? It's a different song. Because if they sing this same song now in this particular month, you know what's going to happen? They are going to be laughed at. They're going to be laughed out of the building if they dare try that. Well, it's not going to matter because Xbox is going to be a third-party publisher. You mean the biggest third-party publisher on your platform? Right? The one that's coming to your platform with like 11 games this year, that's already creating dissatisfaction across people who are subscribed to your service compared to their service. And you know what's funny? Some of these people already have a Game Pass subscription. That's the crazy thing. That's the one thing that shocks me is how many of these PlayStation fans, fanboys as well, talking heads, have an Xbox Game Pass subscription. While they tell people that the Xbox Game Pass subscription is not really that, big of a deal. But they have it. They own it. They use it. They play games on it. Interesting stuff. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace out.